Hello everybody, Momo from the Momo Zone. Hope you're having a great day. Today's letter is called Close-Minded and Selfish Boyfriend. Hi, I'm 21 years old. I regularly watch your vids as a source of inspiration and motivation. I really want to ask your advice on my situation. I have a boyfriend, 21 years old, my first boyfriend, and I want him to be my last. We're together for 7 months now. I like him because he's a good guy, responsible in their family, in his studies, etc. He's faithful to me and committed. He's serious to me. In short, he's a really good type of guy. I have a problem with him in our sex life. Whenever we have sex, he gets his climax and then it's over. He's never been able to satisfy me. Also, he's the type of guy of somewhat close-minded or quasi-conservative. He feels guilty after we have sex and tries to avoid having sex with me again and avoiding me altogether. We resolve to have no sex, then given a situation when we really want to do it, then we have sex again, and then he avoids having sex with me again whenever he's guilty. He's so close-minded in terms of sex. I asked him a question on sex like, what's your ideal sex life? He just said, oh, that's bad. See, he's close-minded. Should I leave him to find somebody else because he can't give me what I want for a satisfying normal sex life? I think I can't really be happy with him because of that. Sorry for this kind of letter, but I really need your advice to come up with the right decision. Okay, close-minded and selfish boyfriend. Wow, this is a really powerful question. I'm getting to have my Dr. Ruth moment right now, and I thank you for giving me that opportunity. There are lots of parameters in having a successful relationship. Sex is one of them, but it is not the entire component in order to make things work. So let's do a little bit of analyzing. I took the liberty to kind of check you out a little bit and see where you come from, and I noticed that you come from the Orients. You're 21 years old. You've been together for 7 months. There's so many factors here. Now, coming from the Orient, there's a lot of, built-in honor factors. People are brought up in a particular way. The woman is the woman. The man is the man. The man has that honor. You're part of one of the new breed of women. Women have a much bigger voice right now when it comes to their sexual freedom than they have ever had. And I'm going to tell you that that's going to scare the shit out of some guys. You say that it's your first boyfriend and the last boyfriend you want to have. So this is your first relationship. Your first relationship always means the most. Sometimes it takes years and years to get over it, and depending on how the thing ends or turns out, some people go for years trying to search for the carbon copy of what they lost, and that's breaking into a complete other kind of psychological domain. I'm going to talk about his point of view for a second, which is going to be maybe a little bit shocking to you, but let's think about this. Maybe you're coming on a little bit too strong in his eyes. Maybe you wanting to have sex with him, or shall I say making love with him, and there's a fine line between sex and making love. So I think that maybe you need to take a different approach. If you think that he is the guy that you want to be with, because, let's face it, there's lots of people out there who have relationships that start off based on sex. It is my knowledge, and from what I have seen over my many years of being on this earth, relationships that are based on sex do not have a very big lifespan. I got to tell you, sometimes you find relationships where you start off and there's something that you really like about the person. It's a mental connection. It's maybe even a physical connection, but the sex doesn't work out exactly like you thought it would. But sometimes it's something that you just have to work on, and then it becomes the greatest thing you've ever experienced. But then again, you did that as a couple, and it's something that you worked on together. Where you come from, things are a little bit different. Embrace his fear. Let's talk about his guilt factor for a second. So you say he feels guilty. Why can that be? Maybe it's something in his upbringing. Maybe he looks at you and he thinks of his mother. Maybe he thinks like, he wants to protect you like a sister. Maybe he just needs to get more inside your head and feel like you guys have a mental connection first beyond the sexual connection. If you really love this guy, step one, you owe it to him to take a different approach. You're going to tell me that, look, I've tried everything. Did you make him a candlelight dinner and spread rose petals all the way from your dinner table over to the bedroom. A very typical thing. You might have seen it in a movie or two, but it should impress him. It's a lot of pressure for him too. Just imagine this. Let me tell you like how a guy might wind up thinking. Imagine you're his first, and he knows that. So now the more you want to have sex, the more he starts thinking, oh my God, what happens when I lose her? She's going to go have sex with someone else. Now, to a guy who is with his girlfriend, who is the first person she's ever been with, that is like some kind of psychotic torture. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in their heads, and especially if he's coming from a serious kind of upbringing that doesn't permit that way of thinking. I gotta tell you, the visions in his head are atrocious. And to you, you might be looking at it as, well, I don't understand. What is he? He's not attracted to me. He doesn't want me. I love him. I want to touch him. I want to get closer to him. I want to show him how much I love him by being that close that we can make love, right? But that's why I'm saying it's really in the approach. So if you do that, I really think that you'll yield a different result. If it really affects you, then maybe you're going to have to just say, look, maybe we need to take a break, and maybe you're going to want to go experience somebody else. I'm all for the building of this relationship. I always believe that things can be worked on, and 7 months is not a long time at all. I think you should give it a little bit more time, especially if you love them. There's a lot of guys out there who are used to being in some kind of control. In their eyes, whether they were brought up that way, whether it's an image they have of themselves or that was portrayed on them from generations or just the way their upbringing is, that are not prepared for women to be in control. Everybody wants to have sex. Everybody wants to know what it feels like. And once you've done it, you're usually going to enjoy it and you're going to want it again. You got to mix it up. I've seen too many people base their entire relationship around pure sex, and I got to tell you, it gets pretty insane. That's what I got to say for now. I truly wish you the best in your recovery for this, and really, like, take a different approach. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch and write, and peace out.
Yeah.